Hi, happy Labor Day, and I'm back with a new video finally. I know it's been long overdue, but I'm here now. I've uploaded a new video finally. I've been wanting to upload a new video, kaso it's just been real busy. So, I really apologize for that. And medyo nahihirapan din kasi akong mag-upload ng new videos sa existing playlists sa channel. Kasi diba yung existing playlists sa channel, criminal law, political law, remedial law, yes, civil law, pero medyo patapos din civil law eh. Yun. Nahihirapan ako dahil I don't practice those subjects of law every day as an in-house counsel or corporate lawyer. But I think if I start talking about corporate law, which is a subject that I'm very comfortable with since I do it every day, then I think I can upload more frequently. Mas madali. Kasi sa ibang subjects, parang kailangan ko mag-aral ulit. I need to have a refresh. And hindi rin kasi ako sure dun sa ibang subjects if may mga updates or amendments. But for corporation law, it's something I'm very familiar with, and I think I can discuss it better now that I'm practicing it kumpara sa when I was a student or a bar reviewee. No? Iba talaga kapag nakikita mo how the law is being applied in the real world. And I'll share that with you so that you get a better insight. You will be able to visualize para mas madaling intindihin yung topics ng corporation law. So, let's get started. So, let's start talking about corporations. Ano ang governing law for corporations? Diba? Anong kodal yung pupulutin mo when we talk about corporations? So, it remains the revised Corporation Code, RA 11232. So, yan pa rin. Hindi pa rin amend. Nung time na nasa law school ako at nag-bar ako, revised Corporation Code pa rin. So, I'm using Attorney Zara's Commercial Law Recap book. Ito yung gamit ko na nag-bar review ako. And yung kay CLV na Philippine Corporation Law, nung law student ako. So, you can see, mas makapal siya. Mas malapad siya. Kasi mas in-depth to eh. Yung commercial law recap, syempre may kasama ng iba't ibang topics. Medyo, parang summary na kasi for bar na to eh. So, before we proceed to define what a corporation is, tignan muna natin sa real world. Ano ba talaga yung corporation? Bakit may corporation? Kasi, yes, it is an entity. As you will find out later, as we will discuss later, that it is a juridical entity, yes. But it's also a business structure. Di ba pag magtatayo ka ng business, yung unang question mo is, how do I set up my business? Di ba? So, meron tayong, yung pinaka-common dyan is sole proprietorship, partnership, corporation. So, may iba't ibang uri pa yan. May iba't ibang uri ng partnership. Merong general partnership, merong limited partnership. Sa corporation, merong stock, non-stock, meron pang OPC or 1% corporation. So, i-discuss lang natin saglit. No? So, pag sole proprietorship, it involves, an individual lang. Yung owner, yung individual owner, siya na rin yung business. The owner is equal to the business. Why? Wala kasing separate personality eh. Siya yung may-ari ng business, siya yung nagpasok ng pera sa business, yung owner, and kung may liabilities yung business, sino yung hahabulin? Siya rin. Yun yung sole proprietorship. It's very simple, it's very straightforward, and it's very easy to set up. And yung regulatory authority na pupuntahan mo pag magsiset up ka ng sole prop is not the SEC. Kasi when it comes to corporations and partnerships, you go to SEC or the Securities Exchange Commission. Sila yung nag-i-issue ng COR mo. Yun yung parang birth certificate ng partnership or corporation mo. But for sole proprietorship, pupunta ka sa DTI. So in terms of ownership naman, yung corporation owned by shareholders or stockholders as the case may be. Pwede din one-person corporation, meaning isang tao lang may-ari but corporation siya, which we will discuss later, no? But general overview lang naman to. For partnership, it's owned by the partners. May iba't ibang uri ng partners. Merong general partner, merong limited partner, may iba't ibang uri rin ng partnership. But yung partnership na topic, civil code yan yung nag-govern, hindi yung RCC. So, civil law siya, hindi siya commercial law. Although, sa bar namin, nasa part siya ng commercial law. But, yes, we won't talk about partnerships, but magpa-partnership ka naman kasi hindi kayang mag-isa. So, maghahanap ka ng partner na tutulong sa'yo in the form of additional capitalization or additional labor or expertise, depende sa pag-uusapan ninyo. And possible na hati kayo sa profits, whether 50-50 yan or a different percentage or different ratio. Depende rin naman sa usapan ninyo. Pagka corporation naman kasi, merong dividends na usapan. Pwedeng stock or non-stock, di ba? Mas complicated siya kaysa sa partnership. Pero, usually, you would go for a corporation business setup if mas larger scale yung gusto mong business na hindi kayang i-run lang or i-fund ng isang tao lang na sole prop, hindi rin kaya ng partnership lang. Kailangan mo ng mas malaking capitalization, larger scale siya. So, magko-corporation ka. In terms of liability, magkakaiba din yan. So, later, we will discuss na sa corporation, there's this separate juridical entity, which is kabaliktaran naman sa sole proprietorship. Kasi sa sole proprietorship, business owner, siya rin yung ultimately liable sa business niya. So, pati yung personal assets kasi ng owner ng sole proprietorship, pwedeng habulin in case na magka-utang or magka-liabilities yung sole prop. Yun yung disadvantage ng sole prop. Pero pag corporation ka naman, hindi ganun kadali yun. We will discuss, diba? In the playlist sa next pa yan na topics kung paano yung liability kapag corporation. Ano yung liability ng mga director? Ano yung mga obligations ng mga shareholders, sinong hahabulin, meron pa yung, basta, medyo complicated kapag ka-corporation. Pero yung isang pros ng corporation is meron siyang separate entity kasi meron siyang separate personality. So, hindi mo pwedeng basta-basta habulin yung individuals composing it. As compared sa partnership naman, kahit madami sila, possible na pwede ring habulin yung partners pati yung yung personal assets ng partners, depende dun sa articles of partnership nila. So, maaring may solidary liability for obligations yung partners, etc. So, yun. So, when you start a business, you decide, diba, anong klaseng structure yung gusto ko for my business, yung bagay for the business that I have in mind, for the business that I want to set up. So again, when we talk about corporations under the Revised Corporation Code and sa corporation law, we talk about private corporations. Different matter yung public corporations sa different subject naman yan sa admin law, dapat din i-discuss yan. So a corporation, you should memorize section 2 of the RCC, is an artificial being created by operation of law, having the right of succession and the powers, attributes, and properties expressly authorized by law. Expressly authorized by law meaning as written sa law. It's not implied. Or incident to its existence, ito naman yung implied. Meaning, sinasabi dito, may mga powers yung corporation na express, kasi expressly authorized by law, and implied, or incident to its existence. Pero yung implied powers niya, dapat incidental to its existence, which we will discuss also later. Juicy stuff. So, i-discuss ko lang yung difference ng public corporation sa private corporation. Again, hindi natin pag-uusapan yung public corporation dito, pero discuss lang natin yung difference. So, the true criterion to determine whether a corporation is public or private is found in the totality of the relation of the corporation to the state. If the corporation is created by the state as the latter's own agency or instrumentality to help it in carrying out its governmental functions, then that corporation is considered public. So, Otherwise, it is private. Meaning yung mga provinces, chartered cities, actually public corporations yung mga yan. Barangays, public corporations yung mga yan. Iba yung GOCC Iba yung treatment sa GOCC. Yung GOCC kasi parang corporation pa rin na private But meron lang mga distinctions. Okay. So, to clarify dun sa powers, attributes, and properties ng corporation, yung express and implied powers na isa-isahin natin later, pero, just a clarification that the corporate powers of a corporation are those conferred by the law lang or incidental to its existence. The implied powers based dun sa existence niya na conferred by law. Okay. Don't worry, we'll discuss in depth later para lang may overview kayo kung ano yung corporation. So again, bakit ka magko-corporation? Because you want to do business. Yun naman talaga. They call it the going concern. And the scale of the business you want to build is larger than what is kaya ng sole prop and partnership. And may mga differences yung corporation, sole prop, and partnership that may lead person or persons to opt for a corporation as a business structure. So, classes of corporation. Okay. So, we have classification as to the existence of stocks. Yung stocks, di-discuss din natin later or sa other videos. So, unti-unti lang. Yes, it can be overwhelming, especially if parang bago yung mga terminologies. But trust the process that you will understand everything later. Magtatagpi-tagpi yan. So, as to the existence of stocks, there's a stock corporation and there's a non-stock corporation. Yung stock corporation, isipin nyo for profit yan. Kasi, meron yung mga shareholders, just meron yung dividends. Isipin nyo na parang may nag-i-invest. Merong corporation, tapos, pag nag-invest ka sa corporation na yan, bibigyan ka ng shares, bibigyan ka ng stocks, tapos, kung ano yung pinasok mo, pag kumita yung kumpanya, you have a portion of the profit depending on how much you put in. Diba? That's why nga, nag-invest ka doon. So, sa stock corporation, yan yung parang mechanism ng capitalization niya. Merong mga shares, and yung corporation is authorized to distribute the shares to individuals. And these individuals or corporation, a corporation can also own shares in another corporation. So, sabihin natin persons. Kasi when you say person, pwedeng juridical person, pwedeng natural person, right? So, merong shares yung corporation, papamigay niya to in exchange of money so that it has the funds to grow. And when it grows, syempre, kailangan niyang mag-payback dun sa mga nag-invest sa kanya. So, yung shares, yun yung binibigay in exchange of the investment in the form of money or property. Dividends, yun yung kapag nag-profit na, yung sobra dun sa certain amount na yun na sinet ng board, yun na yung papamigay as dividends. Parang ito na yung profit mo or reward mo sa pag-invest sa company or sa pagtulong sa company. Kasi kumita. Kapag kumita, so di-discuss din natin yan later. So, yeah. Yun yung stock corporation. Nag-aalaw sa ganyan. Parang, kaya ka nga magko-corporation kasi hindi mo kaya mag-isa. At hindi kaya na partnership lang. Mas malaki yung kailangan mo. And dahil mas malaki yung kailangan mo, kailangan ng structure na kayang mag-accommodate sa maraming investors. 'Diba? Sa partnerships kasi, hindi ganyan eh. Walang mechanism na ganyan eh. Yung corporation, yung structure na nag-a-allow ng investments from other people para mas malaki yung mas malaki yung pwede mong i-accumulate na capitalization or funds to operate. Pero in exchange, you have to also give dividends to those shareholders. Non-stock corporation naman, ito naman hindi for profit. So hindi lahat ng corporation for profit merong non-stock. So yung income niya is not distributed dun sa, wala siyang shareholders. So instead na shareholders, yung kanya members, trustees, or officers. Yung kanila, sinet up nila yung corporation more for giving back to society, benevolence, diba? Kaya merong mga non-stock corporations or NGOs or mga for charitable purposes. Pero nag-set up sila ng corporation kasi large scale. And large scale rin yung ginagawa nila. And kailangan din nila ng large scale funding para magawa kung ano yung purpose nila, but sinet up nila yung non-stock corporation na yan. The only difference is it's not for profit, so wala kang shareholders, wala kang binibentang shares, wala kang dinidistribute na dividends kapag nag-profit. Okay? So yun yung two classes of corporations as to existence of stocks. Okay, so as to the place of incorporation naman, we have domestic and foreign corporations. So hindi ko na explain yun. Self-explanatory. Pag domestic, existed because it was incorporated under Philippine law. Otherwise, it's a foreign corporation. Pero later, very important yan to determine whether it's a domestic corporation or foreign corporation because iba yung rules na naka-apply for domestic at iba rin for foreign. As to legal status, we have de jure and de facto. This one is quite confusing. Pag sinabi mong de jure corporation, it's a corporation created in strict and substantial compliance with the mandatory requirements for incorporation, and the right of which to exist as a corporation cannot be successfully attacked or questioned by any party, including the state, even in a direct proceeding for that purpose by the state. So, pag magsiset up ko ng corporation, kailangan mong idaan sa SEC. Yung SEC, meron niyang mga requirements. Marami yan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kailangan mong isubmit. So, minsan, yung iba, nag-start ng process ng incorporation na mag-register sa SEC pero hindi nila natapos kasi nga ang daming requirements. Pero pag nakumpleto mo lahat ng requirements, then you are considered a de jure corporation, meaning legitimate corporation ka talaga through and through. Walang pwedeng mag-question sa status mo as a corporation kapag ka nakumpleto mo yung requirements set by law. So, meron kang SEC, COR, kumpleto ka, may bylaws ka, lahat ng requirements na kumpleto mo, 100% compliant. So, sabi nga natin kanina, a corporation is an artificial entity. Ibig sabihin yung pagiging entity niya, yung pagkakaroon niya ng personality, hindi pwedeng i-attack ng anyone, even the state. So, it is a fact now that an entity is a corporation after it has complied with all mandatory requirements of the law para maging corporation. Kasi diba, the way an entity becomes a corporation is by operation of law. And that means na kapag nasatisfy niya yung conditions of being a corporation under the law, then it is per se a corporation. So that is a de jure corporation. However, if you fall short sa requirements, you are a de facto corporation. Okay? A corporation which is formed where there exists a flaw in the incorporation, but there is colorable compliance with the requirements of the law. So, in practice kasi, if magsiset up ka ng corporation, di ba, magsastart ka sa system, may online yan eh. Tapos, magsasubmit ka ng mga requirements. Meron kang parang provisional COR na pwede mong i-print. So, by that time, de facto corporation ka na. Kaya ka nga na-issue ka ng parang provisional COR na pwede mo lang ibigay eh. Pero, may mga kulang ka pang requirements. Like, kailangan mong mag-submit ng bylaws, kailangan mong mag-submit ng some physical documents, ganyan. Ibig sabihin, na start mo yung process, may substantial compliance ka, may kulang lang. So, de facto corporation ka. Yung ibig sabihin yan, corporation ka pa rin, pero pwede na ngayon ma-attack yung status mo as a corporation. Yung legitimacy, kumbaga, hindi siya like de jure corporation na unquestionable. Pero yung pwede lang mag-attack sa de facto corporation is the state. Okay? Hindi siya pwedeng i-attack collaterally sa private suit. Kailangan through co-warranto proceeding ng Solgen. So, yung state. So, iba yung de facto corporation sa hindi corporation at all. Kasi, classification of corporations as to legal status. Kapag hindi ka corporation, wala kang classification kasi hindi ka corporation at all. Again, sa de facto corporation, dapat there's an attempt in good faith to incorporate, hindi lang natapos, may mga kulang lang na steps. But meron ng assumption of corporate powers. Kapag ka hindi ka talaga corporation at all, then, wala kang personality. Yung entity na ginawa mo, walang sariling corporate personality. It cannot act as a corporation. It does not have corporate powers. So, bawal niyang i-represent yung sarili niya as a corporation. Wala. Iba siya sa de facto corporation. Yung de facto corporation somehow, recognized as a corporation. So, kwento ko lang, we actually have a creditor na de facto corporation, yung company that I work for. And, finala namin sila ng civil case. Despite knowing na de facto corporation sila, in-implead pa rin namin sila as respondent. So, ongoing pa rin yun. Baka i-explore namin yung co-warranto proceedings para to make the individuals composing the corporation liable. But, the first step for us really was to file a civil case against the de facto corporation. We obtained an SEC certification that states na they started the incorporation process, they were issued a provisional COR, but then may mga kulang silang requirements and hindi nila na-comply yun. Ilang years nang nakalipas, so they do not have the jure status. But we have been dealing with them as a corporation, syempre. Kaya nga sila naging creditor ng company. Yun, meron silang mga arrears. So, kami, since, ano pala sila? Debtor, okay? Sila yung may utang. Debtor sila ng company. We extended a credit line to them. So, the company I work for is the creditor. Okay? Clarify ko lang kasi mali yung una ko sinabi. So, yung gusto namin, of course, is habulin sila na makapagbayad sila ng utang nila. Since corporation, may sarili ang properties. So, we could go after the corporation's properties. That's why we filed the case against the corporation. Again, a corporation is an entity, has juridical personality, meaning it can be sued. It can sue and it can be sued. So, sa corporation that I work for, it was able to sue in its name. So, XYZ Corporation filed a case against ABC Corporation, parang ganon. Para lang din silang mga tao, di ba? They also they can file cases, they can be respondent to cases, ganyan. But sa perspective namin, if wala, kasi we get na parang mahirap habulin yung corporation. We're thinking that we want to go after the properties of the individuals composing the corporation para mabayaran nila yung utang sa company that I work for, right? But we can't just do that simply because there's a corporation. We will discuss later na yun nga yung kinaiba sa sole proprietorship eh. A corporation has its own entity. So you can't just go after the persons composing the corporation para sa mga utang ng company. They are separate. Okay? So, itong dinidiscuss ko ngayon requires a deeper understanding of corporation law, but yes, we'll get there. Yun yung parang gist, no? May separate personality yung company. Distinct siya sa persons composing it. So, kunwari may utang yung company, nangutang yung company in its name, since para rin siyang tao, pwede siyang mangutang, pwede siyang mag-acquire ng properties, pwede siyang mag-dispose ng properties, pwede rin siyang mangutang. So, yun nangyari, nangutang yung company na yon sa company na pinagtatrabahuhan ko. So, para lang mga tao. And now, hindi makapagbayad, so yung pwede lang namin habulin is the company. So, we filed a case against the company, even if it is a de facto corporation. Kasi nga, meron kaming SEC certification, we were able to obtain one that states that they were not able to complete the requirements to become a de jure corporation. Okay, so holding, affiliate, and subsidiary corporations. So, remember, I mentioned earlier that corporations can also be shareholders of another corporation. Parang a corporation could invest in another corporation. Diba? A natural person can put in his investment in the form of money or property sa corporation, but a juridical entity such as a corporation can also do it. So sometimes corporations are not owned by persons, but other corporations as well. So, like for example, San Miguel, the big companies, Ayala, SM, Aboitiz, may mga group of companies yan sila. May mga investments sila. So, an example na lang is SM Investments, SMIC. So, yung SM na alam nyo, yung mall, hindi lang yan isang korporasyon. Hindi yung, di ba mayroong SMDC, yung sa condo, merong SM Supermarket, merong SM Malls, merong, ang dami, di ba? Iba-ibang corporations yan. Hindi yan iisa. Yes, SM Group sila, but the SM Group is comprised of different corporations. Okay? San Miguel, example din yan. Merong San Miguel na nagmamanage ng Skyway or na EX. Merong San Miguel na brewery. Diba? Merong San Miguel Foods. Merong San Miguel Logistics. So, ang dami ring companies na San Miguel, part ng San Miguel Group, pero yung San Miguel Group, iba-iba, comprised of iba-ibang corporation. As in, separate entities sila. Yung tawag sa kanila, affiliates, parang sister companies. When you say affiliates, they're related to one another. Related to one another because they're owned by common management or parang connected sila because parent nila yung isa or subsidiary sila ng isa. Okay, explain ko yung parent and subsidiary in a while. Yung corporations na nag-invest sa ibang corporations, yung tawag doon, holding corporations or parent corporations. So, an example is SM Investments Corporation, SMIC. Yung SM Investments, nag-i-invest sa ibang corporations. And kapag yung investments nila or yung shares na binili nila dun sa corporations na yun exceed 50%, meaning they have the majority. And once they have the majority, 50% and up, that means that they are the parent corporation. Hindi sila nag-invest lang para makakuha lang ng dividends. No. They want control. And if you have more than 50% of the shares, then you have the power to elect the majority of the board members, meaning the persons that decide what's going to happen to the company. That means the parent corporation actually decides the direction that the company is going to and, basically runs it. Hindi lang siya yung i-invest for the dividends, for the profit, as earlier discussed, but it also wants control on how the business should be run or how the corporation should be run. So that's a parent corporation or holding corporation, yung nag-i-invest ng more than 50%. So for example, the company that I work for is a subsidiary of SM. Yung subsidiary naman is yun yung ininvestan. Yung company ko, was 50%, more than 50% of the shares are now owned by SMIC or SM Investments. So that makes SM Investments the parent corporation, and the company that I work for a subsidiary of SMIC. So yung ibang mga SM entities, SM Supermarket, SMDC, at iba pang mga corporations na hindi SM sa pangalan pero SM pala may-ari, or 50% of the shares are owned by SM. Like for example, schools like NU or Asia Pacific, diba? Yung mga ganong schools are actually owned by SM. The same way na Mapua is owned by Ayala, I think, I'm not sure. So, yun yung relationships. Yung parent corporation owns more than 50% of the shares. Yung subsidiary corporation, yun yung corporation na yung may parent. Okay? Parang subsidiary, parang yun yung anak. Ganun na lang. Affiliates, parang kapatid niya. Pero affiliate din kasi tawag mo sa parent mo eh. Pwede din. Okay. Open and closed corporation. An open corporation is authorized and empowered to list in the stock exchange to offer its shares to the public. Tawag din dito as public corporation. Ito yung mga nasa mga ABS-CBN, Jollibee Corporation, pwedeng mag-invest kahit sino. Open sa public. Okay? Public corporation. Kaso yung term is hindi public corporation. Kasi pag sabi yung public corporation, I think I mentioned earlier, public versus private. Public is more like state-owned. So, yun. That's why it's called an open corporation. And nasa public listing siya. It opened itself to public listing. But sometimes it's also loosely referred to as a public corporation. That it went public. Kasi lahat ng corporation starts as closed corporation. And may mga certain requirements for you to be IPO ready na pwede mo nang i-open yung corporation mo for investments ng kahit sino. Closed corporation is the usual corporation na hindi available or hindi publicly listed sa stock market. Okay, so yung mga nag-i-invest dyan is mga limited persons lang. Ano siya, private, hindi pwede kung sino-sino lang. Dapat the corporation has to allow you to invest in it. Unlike sa mga open corporation na anyone who has the money can invest in it. Okay. So the last topic for this video would be corporation by estoppel. Tapos yung corporate juridical personality, let's discuss the next video na kasi it's very lengthy. This corporation by estoppel is also very important to understand. Diba sabi natin kanina mayroong de jure and de facto corporation. Okay, hindi ko na uulitin yon. Balikan nyo na lang. Yung corporation by estoppel, hindi siya de jure, hindi siya de facto. Hindi talaga siya corporation. Okay? But it's a corporation by estoppel without it being de jure or de facto. Because yung corporation by estoppel contemplates persons who hold themselves out as a corporation. So they represent themselves as a corporate entity. Pero wala silang SEC registration, hindi sila de jure, hindi sila de facto, hindi sila nagsimula at all. And they started acting like a corporation kahit hindi sila licensed to do so. Meaning, hindi talaga sila corporation. So, entity sila na nagtatransact as if corporation sila. If they do so, di ba, ano yung effect? Yun yung ina-address ng kung bakit merong corporation by estoppel. If the entity posing as a corporation, which is not actually a corporation, not de jure, not de facto, enters into a contract with another, they cannot say that they are not a corporation if magkaroon sila ng liability because of that. In short, parang penalty to sa kanila na since you're represented as a corporation, if ever may claims against you, bawal mong takbuhan. Kasi pinasok mo yan. Nag-represent ka ng self mo sa corporation. So again, hindi siya de jure, hindi siya de facto. But, corporation, entity lang siya na nagpapanggap na corporation. Pag nag-enter siya into agreements with third parties, of course, that doesn't make it a valid corporation. It doesn't transform it into a corporation. But, it will suffer the consequences of its pagpapanggap to be a corporation if it goes sideways. A corporation by estoppel cannot deny its corporate existence due to its agreement, ambition, or conduct. Ano siya? By estoppel nga eh. So, alam niyo naman siguro kung ano yung meaning ng estoppel, diba? Sa civil law. Laches yan eh, parang wala na eh, parang pinabayaan mo eh, parang kasalanan mo yan eh, nagpanggap ka kasing corporation eh, so meron ka ng admission ng liability. You cannot deny na sabihin mo hindi pwedeng gamitin mo lang na nagkunwari kang corporation to your benefit, but if it goes sideways, you won't be accountable. Hindi pwede. You should still be accountable. However, you will not be treated like a corporation even in accountability or liability. Kasi 'di ba, kapag corporation ka, as discussed earlier, meron kang separate personality. Yung corporation merong separate personality yan. Iba sa mga persons composing it. So pag may liability, unlike sole proprietorship, yung hahabulin is yung corporation, not yung mga tao composing it. Parang shield yung corporation in a way. However, since hindi sila de jure or de facto corporation, they cannot use the entity as a shield because it's not a legit corporation. It's not even de facto corporation at the very least. So, yung persons composing the entity posing as a corporation or a corporation by estoppel will be liable as general partners. Okay? So, lahat ng debts, liabilities, and damages, sila yung sasalo as partners. So, yun.